I'm gonna tell you this. I knew at a very young age that at some point, I didn't know when it would be, but I said at some point I'm gonna have to be doing my own thing. And I'll tell you what did it for me.
Is it not written in your law that ye are gods? You understand what I'm saying? So it just depends on what level you own based on whether you're human or whether you're immortal.
At ease, it's your boy Soul Immortal. Guys, today is a special day because when you talk about divine timing has kicked in today. I was getting ready to make a video this morning and got wind that my sister E was coming through town. So I was like, there's no better person that I should sit with and talk about this than my sister Ebony. So Ebony, just quickly tell them who you are.
Hey, so my name is Ebony and I'm the owner of Organic Creations. I've been in business for about 1.5 years now for myself, but since February, since I've been a full-time entrepreneur. So I'm just really excited about the conversation today and just different things that we can bring to the table and share with them.
Dope. Now, if y'all have watched a number of my videos, y'all hear me talk about a few sisters. I talk about sisters with different products. Ebony's the one owns Organic Creations. I talk about that's the only soap I use. You've seen me talk about it on my social media and certain videos. But yeah, the sister is definitely sharp, business savvy. And thank you for making time today because I know your time is crunched. So I appreciate it. But brothers, I want to talk about one thing today, right? Like there's this movement or there's this, this hashtag that a lot of people are attaching themselves to, and it's called the Great Resignation. And what it's talking about pretty much is like just this wave of people leaving their jobs and going toward, full-time entrepreneurship. Matter of fact, it said in August alone, August 2021, it said that 4.3 million people left the workforce. 2.9% of the population left their jobs in August, right? Now, some of that could be pushed toward, the whole jab. I'm sure it was. But at the same time, a lot of people are just trying to make that move. Now, we talked about this shift back in 2019. We said the shift is coming. Some things are going to be changing. When 2020 hit, like I saw this movement already taking place. And that's when I made my jump, right? So today, I just really want to talk about the three primary steps that any person should consider or take when talking about making that leap, right? So for me, and I want your input on this, Ed, because, but for me, the first thing is I think a person needs to, make that decision. And the reason I say that is because like a lot of people will be in the workforce and a lot of people will talk about, starting their own business or start YouTubing or doing whatever. But a lot of people will have that same mindset, for 100,000 years, and they'll look up when they're 65 and retire with all these ideas in the back of their mind. Right. So I think, at least for me, it was making that decision. And when I say making that decision, I'm talking about like, you're starting to set dates. You're starting to set ideas on what you're going to do. And you're actually pouring concrete around that. Like you're getting to the point where there's no point of return. There's no point of return. And for me, the crucial part of me making that decision was finding my why. Mm-hmm. For me personally, my why was like when my son came to live with me. Mm-hmm. I was in a situation where I was in corporate America, had a very good job. I was loving my job. But I knew that when my son said, "Hey, Dad, I want to come live with you," I knew that, hey, some things had to happen. So my why became that. You know what I'm saying? So when it came to your decision, like what was it for you?
So for me, at first, it was a little bit difficult because, I was a first generation college student. And so everyone's looking at me to have this awesome career. And they're just proud of the fact that I work at the TV station and all these different things. And at some point, like my nephews were requiring me to be more present in their life, just different sports and just them needing my support for different things. And I just wanted to be able to like show them where it's like, like I have this career and I have all these things I was able to accomplish by going to school. But there's also other options because when you're an entrepreneur, you have that sense of freedom. So I think for me, it was always instilled in me just from my dad and the way that he like brought us up. So my dad, he taught me how to plant a garden. And from a young age, he was like, hey, if you want some extra money, You need to go out there and work for it. And so I remember being younger and me and my brother just like walking around the neighborhood, like raking up people's yards and like walking around with our trash bags. And at that time, them paying us $20 to rake their leaves. So at that time, like that was a little bit of change.
Yeah.
And then like even in like middle school, I used to have like this shoebox and I would like put this Kool-Aid inside of it. So I'll mix the sugar with the Kool-Aid and I was just like selling it as snacks. And like some point the principal came around and confiscated my Kool-Aid, but if you ask any of my classmates, they're gonna know this story and they're gonna trip you out about how that whole happened. But
dang, so you like a dope dealer in training type said what we're really saying.
I really was. Like you can ask any of my classmates if you meet them, I'll probably put a video up of them saying something. But yeah, that definitely happened in middle school.
That's dope. And when it comes down to decision, man, like it needs to be to the point where like when you say like this is the route I'm going. Like whatever that whatever it ends up being, like if I end up living in a cardboard box, if I end up living in my car, like this is my decision. Mm-hmm. So when I say decision, man, it needs to be a point of no return. That's ultimately what I'm saying, man. And I'm telling you, very few people can get to that point where they're like, you know what, I don't know how it's going to end up. I'm going to go 100%, but I'm not coming back here. Like I'm only going forward. So decision is crucial. Make sure you make the decision, right? Then for me, the next step was two parts. It was part having a game plan and it was part sacrifice. Like of course you have to know what you're gonna do. You have to know if you're gonna start a business. Like for you started Organic Creations. You knew what that looked like. Like you had to have an end goal. You had to have a strategy to get to that. Like okay, I'm gonna be working these shows. I'm gonna make website. I'm gonna do this. Like this is gonna be my game plan, right? And you have to move toward it. For me, my game plan consisted of, I wanted to bring a certain amount of income in. Mm-hmm. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna move in a certain way, and if I can get my income to match my salary, and I said if I could sustain that for like a year, if I could just sustain it for a year, I'm out.
Right.
I'm out. And the good thing for me is it was almost to the point where my business started to grow to the point where like my job was, when I felt like my job was capping me now, like that was a stressful place, but it was a healthy place to be in because it was like now my job is keeping me from making money. Mm-hmm. So that was part of my game plan. And the second part of that, man, is sacrifice.
Yeah.
And this is right here. This is where a lot of brothers, a lot of sisters are going to fall off because if you're talking about making that leap, if you're talking about leaving your job and doing your own thing, brother, it's not going to be easy. If it was easy, everybody would do it. Like it's going to take you dealing with, going without certain things, right? I can say this. I can easily say that my last job, the brothers that I worked with, man, the guys that I met, man, I worked with some of the best guys on the planet, man. Brothers lived in I had a brother live in Houston, and the guy just stayed all over the U.S., some over in Canada. And we would work together occasionally. We would have, division meetings and all this stuff. Mm-hmm. And bro, when I say when we hooked up, brother, we hooked up, we worked hard during the day. And in the evening, bro, we went hard. We were clubbing, we were having division meetings on the beach. We were living it up. But it came a point in time, bro. It came a point in time where I was saying, like if I'm going to make this leap, like I'm going to have to step. Like in other words, all I'm saying is there came a point in time where after work, when brothers were going to the VIP and clubbing and doing all that and drinking, having fun, I had to go without that, man. I had to go without it. And I can remember, man, the times where we would go eat dinner after work. Mm-hmm. And then the guys would be like, hey, we're finna go out. And I'll say, nah, man, I'm and them guys thought I was acting funny. Yeah. And I was like, bro, I'm not acting funny. Like I just got stuff I have to do.
Right.
I'm going back to the hotel. I'm reading books on stocks. I'm reading books on how to make certain moves. I'm making YouTube videos when my partner's out there drinking.
Yeah.
On the weekends, brothers are going out, doing all these things. And I'm sitting here reading books trying to, So sacrifice is huge. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I noticed that same thing for me because like with me doing like events, like I had to sacrifice my weekends. And so my friends, they're working during the week. So the weekends is their free time versus I'm having to do events. So our free time is not lining up. So it makes it more difficult to spend time with them. So I'm having to like adjust in other ways in order to still be, present in their life. And then, February, I left my job full time. Then April, I was like, you know what? I've been meaning to go natural, but now I don't have like all this money to spend on getting my hair done all the time. I started being natural and started like actually having to like sacrifice that money and spend time like learning how to do my own hair. And so you have to sacrifice in different areas. And then like also having to like meal prep more because I'm not trying to like spend extra money on going out all the time. And actually like using the gym as a source for like stress relief. And so it just changed all these different like parts like in my life. So
That makes sense. That makes sense. And you know what was crazy? Like a lot of people think that well, I want to leave my job so I can have freedom. Yes, there's freedom, but if you think for any second that it's going to require give you all this time freedom, brother, if you aren't ready, and correct me if I'm wrong, if you might have saw something different. If you think that you're going to leave your job and automatically, you're going to start working 4 hours a day and think you're going to be winning, bro, you got to be ready. You got to be ready to put them 16, maybe 18-hour days in.
Yeah.
You got to be ready to sacrifice those weekends, man. You got to be ready to, maybe eat off that dollar menu for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like that's part of it, bro.
And I've had weeks where it's like I'm working every single day where I was like, when I was working a typical job, I wasn't working every day. I had my weekends off. And now it's just like you're working every day because you're doing stuff during the week. And on the weekends, you have to go and actually do these events. And so sometimes it was 7 days a week where it's like typically people were like used to just 5 days and you chilling.
So man, I'm telling you, game plan and sacrifice is like if you aren't willing to put together a strategy, if you aren't willing to go without some things, some pleasures in life, maybe have to give up a few assets to get to that point. If you aren't ready for that, man, don't even think about it, brothers. But I'm telling you that opportunity is there. One thing I do like about like my last job, it took a lot of time. Like I would wake up at 6 a.m. and like it was easy to say I will be working, to 7 or 8 at night every day. So I was used to, putting in a lot of hours. That's one thing I like about that job, that it kind of prepped me that, hey, it's going to be some long days. Yeah. So I can, I'm just saying, brothers, if you think it's going to be like an easy task, having a game plan and sacrificing is a part of it. But once you put those things in place, I'm telling you, you'll start seeing the reward from it.
Yep.
And the last thing I would say is like you have to have the ability to walk on water. In other words, you have to have the ability to stand on your faith. At some point, you can do all the planning, you can do all the prepping. Like no scenario is going to be perfect, man. Like it's going to take some level of faith. And this is my thing, man. Like I don't understand how people can like spend 20 years of their life in church, 20 years of their life in Jumu'ah, 20 years of their life in mass and praying and chanting. And even going into your meditation, you go into your meditation and you know the process and you create your own world. And then that world presents itself and you freeze up. Yeah. I'm telling you, you're going to have to be able to walk on water. In other words, what I'm saying is you're going to have to be able to put yourself in a situation where you're like, you know what? I'm trusting the source. And if I fall, I fall. Yeah. Like you're going to have to trust the source that much, man. Yeah. Like it's going to take a lot of faith. It's going to take a lot of faith. Like, did you see that when you were like, was it just, were you in a situation where it was like, I done stacked so much cheese, I can just, or was it an act of faith you had to make?
It was that, and also having a support system. I think the biggest thing for me was like taking everything that I learned from that job and applying that to my life. Because like, if you can go to work for someone else and follow their guidelines and be disciplined for them, you have to have that exact same discipline for yourself.
I agree. I'm gonna tell you this. I knew at a very young age that at some point, I didn't know when it would be, but I said at some point I'm gonna have to be doing my own thing. And I'll tell you what did it for me. I was about 19 years old, and I was working for this place in Kilgore, Texas. It's called Mansfield Plumbing, and I was just like a general laborer or whatever. And I remember getting, I was sweeping floors and all that. Then they ended up putting me in a division, And this is what I remember. I remember there were all these old schoolers there. 30, 40, 50 years old. And they had been there for 10, 15 years, man. And they knew every inch of that plant. They knew how the whole thing worked. And I saw them bringing in guys that were like 21 years old, 22 years old, and putting them in charge of these guys. Mm-hmm. And these guys were asking the old schoolers, like, how does this work? How does this work? I'm like, bro, like this is bad backwards. Yeah, and I said, I'll never find myself in that position.
Yeah.
Like, and I said, you know what? I don't know when it'll be, but I can't see myself at that whole 65 years old and retiring. Like that was never in my game plan. Yeah. That whole retiring off and living off the 401k, it was never a part of my agenda, man. So I'm telling you, brothers, sisters, like there's a movement going on, and I think a lot of this movement is associated with this wave of energy that's taking place. Like a lot of people are trying to find freedom, and freedom is not being a millionaire for everybody. Freedom is not, having a yacht and 30 Benzes in the garage. A lot of times, freedom is just being able to make your own call. So guys, man, like, and I know for a lot of you, like it's on your mind. Like we talk about this, starting your own business, starting your own trucking company, starting your own insurance agency, whatever it is, man. Like now's the time to move on it. Like we can talk about this stuff all day, man. I'm telling you, if we just talk about it, we'll be talking about it for the next 20 years.
Right.
At some point in time, you have to put this stuff into action. You have to put this stuff into action, man. You have to make the decision. You have to get a game plan, sacrifice. And at some point, you got to walk on water.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Man, make that move. Go follow my sister, Ebony. Organic Creations. Try that soap out. I'm telling you this, brothers. I'm going to say this. Try every other soap first. Because once you get it, once you smell it, once you feel what it does to your skin, you're not going back, man. So, yeah. Anything you want to leave them with, Ebony?
I would say you have to know yourself first to know what you can handle. And you have to create discipline or put people around you that's going to help you, carry out whatever it is that you're trying to do. And whatever you do, just commit to it and just go out there and do it.
Nice.
That's all I got.